The optional rebellion missions continue the theme of the first two missions, rebelling against the Dominion. While these missions could have been used to explain what Mengsk has been doing over the past 4 years that has antagonised Raynor so much, Blizzard decided to be lazy and created a story with 4 major problems. 1. According to the rebellion missions, Raynor is rebelling against Mengsk because Mengsk used Psi Emitters on Tarsonis to lure Zergs to this planet. However, after Mengsk used Psi Emitters, Raynor saved Mengsk from the UED who were planning to execute him.
So, the elusive Arcturus Mengsk at last. I was hoping to speak with you before we finished our business here. I am Admiral Gerard Dugas, and I must commend you, sir, for holding back our advance for as long as you have. You are indeed a worthy opponent.
My thanks to you, sir. But you must know that your victory here means little to me. It might have taken me a while, but I did overthrow the Confederacy. I'll overthrow your rule as well.
That seems unlikely, seeing as how you will be publicly executed along with the rest of your ranking officers.
You wouldn't dare.
The man who crowns himself emperor speaks to me of death. You have far outleaned your reputation as citizen Mengsk. Captain, prepare to take the Emperor into custody.
You'll have to postpone those plans, gentlemen.
Sir, the rebel command ship Hyperion has just entered our system. It is accompanied by a small Protoss fleet.
What? Who are these?
What the hell are you doing here?
I pulled your ass out of the fire. Shut up and sit tight. Make no mistake about it. We've got us a serious score to settle. But right now, a mutual acquaintance of ours wants you alive. Prepare your ships for dimensional recall.
This is improper. They're escaping right out from under us. Track them. Track them.
Never objected to Kerrigan helping Mengsk retake Core Hole.
Remember the Confederate Psi disruptor that you could never find? Well, the UED found it, and it's preventing me from controlling my minions. With the help of your Psi Emitters, I can gather up enough Zerg to destroy the disruptor and confront the UED.
And what are you offering me in return?
Ha! Ever the politician. Alright, Emperor. If you help me destroy the disruptor, I'll help you retake Core Hall from the UED.
A tempting offer. What assurances do I have of you fulfilling your end of the bargain?
The only thing I can assure you of, Arcturus, is that without my help, you'll be the Emperor of your own little 8x8 cell for the rest of your life.
And even help Mengsk retake Core Hole and regain control of the Dominion.
Then let's waste no time. Every moment we sit here means that the UED's defenses will be that much stronger, and I want nothing to stand between us and the retaking of my planet.
You're right, Arcturus. The time to strike the UED is now. But remember that we're up against one of the most heavily defended planets in the sector. Laying siege to Core Hall won't be easy. Not only does the UED control a substantial standing army, but may have Zerg reinforcements as well. Raynor, you and Phoenix will strike at the more outlying fortification, while my forces are busy assaulting the main UED base at August.
Which is the exact opposite of what Raynor would have done if he hated Mengsk for putting Psi Emitters on Tarsonis. It seems that Blizzard was too lazy to come up with a real reason for Raynor to rebel against Mengsk, though they just manipulated the facts to make Mengsk look evil. 2. These missions don't explain why Mengsk put Psi Emitters on Tarsonis to make Mengsk look more evil. In Starcraft 1 it was explained that the Confederacy's headquarters were located on Tarsonis, and that Mengsk hated the Confederacy for firing missiles at his home planet of Core Hole, which killed everybody. Also, Mengsk only had Psi Emitters because the Confederacy used them to lure Zerg to Marsara, and possibly Chow Sara. So in Starcraft 1 the player could understand why Mengsk put the Psi Emitters on Tarsonis because the story explained why. But in Starcraft 2 Blizzard removed this explanation to make Mengsk look more evil, even though it was grossly misleading. 3. At a time when the Zerg are attacking the Dominion, invading whole planets and causing casualties in the billions, Raynor decides that now is the perfect time to try and make the people revolt against Mengsk. even though quelling these revolts will result in soldiers that could have been used to fight the Zerg being forced to fight Terran. Yes, while Mengsk did the same thing in Starcraft 1, he at least tried to unite the people he convinced to rebel into an army that could fight against the Zerg and the Confederacy. Unlike Raynor, who is meant to be the hero even though he causes revolts and never tries to create an alternative to the Dominion. 4. Even after Raynor allies with the Dominion and agrees to accompany Valarian on his trip to Char, he still thinks it's a good idea to attack Dominion bases and cause huge riots throughout the Dominion, even though this may cause the invasion to be postponed while the Dominion tries to regain order. But because Blizzard decided that these missions should be playable in any order, Raynor is still able to ally with the Dominion, attack the Dominion, and cause a huge revolt without it affecting any other mission, even though it should result in the Dominion not taking Raynor to Char. As the premise of these missions are a mixture of retcons and misinformation, it won't surprise anyone that these missions are terrible. Rebellion Mission 1, The Great Train Robbery. In this mission you have to intercept trains containing salvage material that the Dominion keeps sending out, even though you've attacked all the previous trains. This raises the following problems. 1. Why doesn't Raynor just destroy the train tracks so the trains can't get away? 2. Why is the Dominion using trains rather than drop ships such as Medevacs or the Hercules? 3. After you start attacking trains, why doesn't the Dominion stop sending trains until they've destroyed your base? 4. Where are all the Zerg on Tarsonis? The planet was infested with Zerg and Brood Wars, but for some reason no Zerg show up during the entire mission. It seems that this mission is based on a particular theme rather than something that's meant to make any sort of sense. After this mission ends, you find an adjutant and everyone just assumes that this is the valuable thing the Dominion was talking about, even though Raynor's raiders have no idea what the valuable thing is meant to be, and it's possible that the Dominion hasn't sent out the valuable thing yet because they've run out of trains. Yet again, this is lazy writing by Blizzard where the main characters just happen to know things. Rebellion Mission 2, Cutthroat. In this mission you pay Orlan to decrypt the Adjutant and he immediately tries to sell it to the Dominion. So you have to collect scrap to get the money to pay a mercenary to help you fight Orlan. You then attack Orlan's command centre, which somehow doesn't damage the Adjutant in any way. Afterwards, the Adjutant plays a recording of the conversation from the end of Terran Mission 8, The Big Push, about Psi Emitters.
This is Duke. The emitters are secured and online.
Who authorized the use of Psi Emitters?
I did, Lieutenant.
What? The Confederates on Antigua were bad enough, but now you're going to use the Zerg against an entire planet? This is insane.
She's right, man. Think this through.
I have thought it through. Believe me. You all have your orders. Carry them out.
Then it suddenly skips to Mengsk's speech from the start of Mission 10, The Hammer Falls, where Mengsk threatens Raynor after Raynor rebels against him.
Gentlemen, you've done very well. But remember that we've still got a job to do. The seeds of a new empire have been sown, and if we hope to
To hell with you!
You're making a terrible mistake. Don't even think to cross me. I have sacrificed too much to let this fall apart.
You mean like you sacrificed Kerrigan?
You'll regret that. You don't seem to realize my situation here. I will not be stopped. Not by you, or the Confederates, or the Protoss, or anyone. I will rule this sector, or see it burnt to ashes around me. If you...
I suspect Blizzard combined these conversations to make Mengsk seem more evil, just like I cut the first part of Mission 10 to make Raynor look more like a douche. Raynor then claims that this can be used to prove Mengsk is guilty, even though only Duke is identified by name and the planet is never referred to as Tarsonis. Another bad thing about this plotline is that if the Adjutant had such incriminating evidence, why didn't Mengsk just order the Dominion soldiers to destroy it? It seems Blizzard is making all the characters do whatever is needed to move the story along, rather than act in a sane manner. Rebellion Mission 3, Engine of Destruction. In this mission you have to steal the Odin and destroy the Dominion bases so no one notices you've stolen the Odin. This mission has 5 main problems. 1. Why is the Odin located in the part of the base with the weakest defence? Shouldn't this weapon be in the most heavily defended part of the base? 2. Why is Tychus willing to hijack the Odin even though he's working for Mengsk? Mengsk might mistake these actions for treason, and the suit Tychus is wearing can kill him at any time. This is something Tychus shouldn't be doing. 3. Why doesn't Tychus inform Mengsk what Raynor is doing? Especially since Mengsk is likely to reward Tychus for hindering Raynor's plan and saving his reputation. 4. Why does Raynor choose the violent Tychus for a plan that involves tact and discipline? Both of which Tychus clearly lacks, as he goes on a rampage as soon as he gains control of the Odin. Though the sane thing would have been to use someone less violent, I suspect Tychus was used so that Blizzard could create a situation where the player had to quickly build up a base. 5. Why doesn't the Dominion consider it suspicious that all 5 bases have been destroyed? Given that the Odin is going to feature in a parade on Korhol, you'd think they'd be constantly in contact with these bases to ensure that the Odin is ready and to arrange for the Odin to be transported from Valhalla to Korhol. Yet more evidence that Blizzard is forcing the plot to go in a specific direction, even though characters should be acting in the opposite way. Back on the Hyperion, a conversation with Tosh reveals that Mengsk hasn't killed Raynor, because Mengsk needs to ruin Raynor's reputation first. Which makes no sense, because if Mengsk is using the media against Raynor, then Raynor's reputation will have already been ruined. Tosh also says that someone is working for Mengsk, but Raynor doesn't do anything about it, even though this is a major threat to Raynor's plan. Horner also tells Raynor that Tychus' suit can kill him at any time, but Raynor doesn't bother to figure out who is threatening Tychus, even though his plan relies on Tychus piloting the Odin. Rebellion Mission 4, Media Blitz. Before starting this mission, Horner tells you that he was somehow able to get Tychus on Korhol in the Odin without anyone noticing. He also managed to set up a nearby base. What? Korhol is the capital of the Dominion, yet no one questioned who was delivering the Odin after all the bases on Valhalla were destroyed. No one checked who was piloting it, and no one noticed that a group of rebels were able to set up a base near a major publicity stunt. If security on Korhol is so lax, why doesn't Raynor just smuggle in an army and overthrow Mengsk? So Tychus walks around Korhol, then starts attacking all the spectators and soldiers who are watching the Odin. Afterwards, one tells you that he's been able to make doors from all the spare parts lying around simply by examining the Odin. Given how long it would have taken the Dominion's engineers to design and build the Odin, it's ridiculous for Swan to just be able to create a smaller version of it in a short period of time. After your first broadcast, Mengsk realises that Raynor is behind this attack, but doesn't try to cut all of the transmissions from Korhol, or try to blow up the remaining towers to prevent more broadcasts. He also doesn't try to contact or kill Tychus. Even though Korhol is the capital of the Dominion, Warfield can only find a small number of reinforcements, despite Horner claiming in the intro that the Dominion would throw everything they have at Raynor. So either the Dominion army on Korhol is very small, or Blizzard didn't put any thought into what sort of army Warfield would respond with. After broadcasting the message throughout the Dominion, Raynor decides to leave, rather than send his large army to attack Mengsk's palace and overthrow him. Given that the people on Korhol are rioting against Mengsk, just like the people rioted on Marsara, this is the perfect time to overthrow Mengsk. Yet Raynor doesn't overthrow Mengsk because Blizzard still needs him to be the villain in Heart of the Swarm. The mission ends with Raynor's raiders somehow being able to again bypass the Dominion security and escape without any problems. It's unclear what happens to the Odin, as Raynor never uses it again, not even when he attacks Char. In the aftermath of these broadcasts, Mengsk can do one of 5 things. 1. Claim the recording is a fake created by Raynor to discredit him. Unless Raynor had the adjutant verified while broadcasting this message, there's no proof that it's even real. 2. Claim that someone else with a similar voice authorised the use of the Psi Emitters. Remember, Mengsk is never mentioned by name in the recordings. 3. Claim that he had the Psi Emitters put on somewhere other than Tarsonis. After all, the planet's name is never mentioned. 4. Point out that the Confederacy had known about the Zerg for over a year before the Zerg attacked Marsara.
I saw Zerg within Confederate holding pens myself, and that was over a year ago. It's clear the Confederates have known of these creatures for some time. For all we know, they could be breeding the things.
And that the Psi Emitters were made by the Confederacy, who used them to lure Zerg to Mar Sara to wipe out their enemies.
The Confederacy used these Psi Emitters to lure the Zerg into isolated containment areas. Your colony, Mar Sara, Commander, was one such location.
5. Remind everyone that the Confederacy nuked its home planet, killing everyone.
Just as they destroyed Korhal with nuclear weapons to establish dominance a generation ago, they would use the Zerg to put an end to their other rivals. Only this time there'd be no outrage. Who could suspect the aliens were their creation? No, they'd be lauded as heroes for coming in and destroying the Zerg. It's time the Confederacy paid for its crime.
However, Mengsk does none of these things and instead throws a hissy fit for no reason. It seems that Blizzard is not only determined to make Mengsk evil, but they also want him to be retarded as well. The scene then cuts to Raynor and Horner, who are celebrating that the media doesn't like Mengsk. Yet neither mentions helping any of the people rioting against Mengsk, even though this rebellion is meant to be about freedom. As Mengsk isn't overthrown because Heart of the Swarm needs a villain, it can be assumed that the rioters were all crushed by the Dominion military. So Raynor's whole plan probably resulted in millions of deaths and cost trillions in property damage. But Blizzard doesn't dwell on this because Raynor is meant to be the hero. Conclusion. In my opinion, aside from all the plot holes, irrational decisions made by the characters and retconning in these missions, the worst thing is that they don't have any effect on anything. Even if you expose Mengsk, the Dominion isn't weakened in any way. The Ghost will still side with and obey Raynor. Tychus isn't killed for failing to report this plot. Valarian still wants to ally with Raynor. Mengsk doesn't order the Dominion fleet to kill Raynor. And Warfield still praises Raynor even though he suffered a humiliating defeat when Raynor attacked Korhal. Due to Blizzard's poorly written story, the outcome of this mission has no effect on the rest of the game, even though it should have a major effect. These missions really should have been more about why people might be rebelling against the Dominion, or Raynor helping people rebel against the Dominion. You know, what Blizzard did really well in the Terran missions in Starcraft 1. Rebellion Mission 5, Piercing the Shroud. So you go to the secret biolab, fight your way through them, and find that the Dominion is cloning hybrids. I guess they lack the technology to make them. You then blow up the power source, which releases the hybrid, which starts attacking everyone. Good going, Raynor. You then have to escape this facility and board the ship the Dominion scientists were going to escape on. Since no Dominion scientists are mentioned in the ending, I guess they all died before getting to this ship. Even though Raynor leaves without killing the hybrid, it doesn't affect Wings of Liberty in any way. I'm guessing that Blizzard is just going to forget about this hybrid.